Donald Trump loves bluster, but he also loves a bit of chaos. He actually thrives on chaos and tumult in a way that most presidents and politicians don't.
What happens on January the 21st?
Well, day one of the Trump presidency will see a flurry of executive orders, which he has long promised because he intends to hit the ground running. In some ways, he's already behaving as if he is the president, and Joe Biden is scarcely in evidence. Now, you'll remember that Biden entered the presidency in 2020 and started issuing executive orders. Well, lots of those will be overturned by Donald Trump immediately. Plus, he has promised pardons for the January 6 prisoners. Those are the people locked up for the riot against the Capitol, which arguably was incited pretty heavily by Donald Trump himself. So he's promised to free those prisoners. He has promised to start issuing orders about drill, baby, drill, opening up oil exploitation, and maybe lifting some of the green mandates that Biden put in place. And of course, as you mentioned, he wants to crack down on immigration straight away, and he has an immigration czar, Tom Homan, who is already working on which people he's going to deport first, which is almost certainly migrants with criminal records. So he intends to make a big show of strength. Things that might be more difficult to achieve, as Donald Trump has already admitted, might be peace in Ukraine on day one. And
because we know, don't we, that Putin is in no mood to compromise.
Well, he certainly is going to play his cards pretty close to his chest and not going to give away anything in advance to Donald Trump. So I do think we will probably see some sort of agreement on Ukraine in 2025. But I think it's going to take a lot of hard pounding to sort out. And Ukraine is, of course, trying to step up the fight, and so is Russia. And in each seeking to cause as much difficulty for the other side as possible before Donald Trump enters the picture.
Do you see the first few weeks, months of Donald Trump's time in the White House being as tumultuous as was being warned by the Democrats in the election campaign? Or do you actually think that once he gets in there, things will settle down pretty quickly and a lot of it is just bluster?
Well, Donald Trump loves bluster, but he also loves a bit of chaos. He actually thrives on chaos and tumult in a way that most presidents and politicians don't. That's part of his more showbiz side. And I think confrontation suits him. It keeps the electorate interested in what he's up to. But of course, it's also why people got sick of him and voted in Joe Biden in 2020. Now they're kind of hungry for that, infotainment that he provides. And we're getting a glimpse of some of that already with the war between MAGA and the tech bros. I mean, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are coming in for ferocious criticism today from Laura Loomer and Steve Bannon, who consider themselves the original MAGA people, for wanting to bring in too many people on H-1B talent visas and lift the caps that will enable a lot of people to come from the Indian subcontinent to America on talent visas for the tech industry. It's like, oh, how come the tech industry wants exceptions for itself, but wants everybody else to be kept out? So they're squabbling already, and all kinds of name calling is taking place. And Laura Loomer is claiming that Elon Musk is trying to deplatform her on X, and it's got quite vicious. But I think Donald Trump doesn't mind a bit of infighting as long as he's the ringmaster, as long as he's in charge of the circus, which he, as president of the United States, definitely will be.
Do you think that looking ahead, that it's inevitable that factions within the Trump, just to your falling, to the point you're making between Bannon versus Musk, do you think that it's inevitable that there are going to be those who are in the court of Donald Trump who are going to be cast aside as the likes of Mr. Musk and Mr. Bannon vie out for the president's ear?
Yeah, definitely. But then let's not forget that Donald Trump really made a lot of his reputation with the American public as the star of The Apprentice, whose watchword was, "You're fired." And he never seemed to suffer from the fact that he fired loads of people from his first term in office in 2016, and later called them complete morons, dumb as a rock, and insulted all the people who at the time he had heralded as the greatest ever talents. So we know that he says he only selects the best people, but he can turn on them on a dime. And so, yes, all the people who are now basking in Donald Trump's favor and enjoying hanging out at Mar-a-Lago could soon find that they're not getting that ready access to Trump once he's president. And I would have thought that what the people to watch are definitely Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, who are being treated now as Johnny-come-latelys in Trump's elections. And they've got a tough task at DOGE, this Department of Government Efficiency, as so-called, because it will mean taking on a lot of vested interests. And therefore, if you're trying to cut programs and cut government spending, you're going to come up against a lot of opposition. Now, will Trump side with them or will he throw them to the wolves? We don't know. What about Robert F. Kennedy Jr.? Trump's already said that he's going to try and, that he's going to be more moderate as a health secretary than some of his pronouncements. I mean, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a crank who doesn't believe in things like the polio vaccine. Now, he doesn't believe in fluoridization either. And we know he's an anti-vaxxer, and Trump has some sympathy with his idea about vaccines causing autism, which was debunked in Britain but has taken root in America. Will Robert F. Kennedy Jr. be given his head, or will he be thanked for his service during the election and be ushered to the door fairly promptly? Again, we don't know.
Can I just ask, how long do you think it will be before Keir Starmer gets an invitation to the White House? And do you think there is, with Peter Mandelson coming in as the UK ambassador to Washington, do you think that is more likely than not to happen within the first 6 months?
Well, Donald Trump likes Britain. If you'll remember, he was saying how good-looking Prince William was when they met at Notre Dame for the reopening of that magnificent cathedral. I think, obviously, Trump is going to be much less enamoured of Keir Starmer. He likes Nigel Farage, who's part of his Mar-a-Lago court of worshippers, and he'll want to do. He won't want to do Starmer too many favours. I have to say, there's a big old whispering campaign against Peter Mandelson and some of the negative things that he said about Donald Trump happening in America. So Peter Mandelson
Interesting.
to find the red carpet waiting for him. But of course, he is a pretty suave and experienced. What to call Peter Mandelson? Goodness, he's certainly a grandee, shall we say?
Yeah.
Who's pretty good at working the corridors of power. So perhaps he can get in with Trump. But some people are not opening the door for him at all.